What if the Super Bowl confetti hadn't even been swept away before the Seahawks decided to reshape their future, making a blockbuster trade that leaves the league stunned? While other teams celebrate victory or commiserate defeat, Seattle's front office is already placing a radical bet on tomorrow. We've been told the draft is for building, not the frantic hours after the big game. Yet here we are. Insiders suggest this move isn't just about next season. It's a philosophical shift that could redefine the team's identity. The player heading to Seattle possesses a skill set this franchise has never seen, and the cost to acquire him was staggering. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things Seattle Seahawks. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the latest updates. We have some breaking news coming out of the Pacific Northwest that is absolutely shaking the foundation of the fan base, and honestly, the entire NFL landscape. I know the Super Bowl just wrapped up. We're all still processing the big game, and typically this is the quiet period on the NFL calendar. It's the time for reflection, for the draft combine prep, and for coaches to take a quick breather. But apparently, someone forgot to tell the Seattle Seahawks front office that. Words started leaking out about an hour ago from sources within the VMEC, and it has sent shockwaves through social media. The news is so significant, so unexpected, that fans are struggling to process it. What I'm about to tell you is not a rumor from some clickbait account. This is being corroborated by multiple team insiders. Are you ready for this? The Seattle Seahawks have just executed a blockbuster trade, and it involves one of the most pivotal positions on the field. This isn't a depth piece move or a late round pick swap. This is a statement. This is a franchise-altering decision that signals exactly what direction John Schneider and this coaching staff want to go in for the 2024 season and beyond. The player at the center of this trade? None other than starting quarterback Geno Smith. Now, before you click away or start typing furiously in the comments, let me explain the full context, because it's not as simple as just moving on from a veteran quarterback. The details of this trade are complex, and they show a level of aggressive maneuvering we haven't seen from this front office in years. According to the sources, the Seahawks have agreed to trade Geno Smith to the insert team here. For example, Las Vegas Raiders / Minnesota Vikings / Atlanta Falcons, in exchange for a significant package of draft picks. We're hearing it's a multi-pick deal that includes a 2024 second rounder and a conditional 2025 pick that could escalate to a first-round selection based on performance and playing time. The trade cannot be made official until the new league year begins, but the agreement is in place, and Geno has been informed. This move comes as a massive surprise because just a few weeks ago at the Senior Bowl, John Schneider was singing Geno's praises, talking about his leadership and his role in the offense. But the NFL is a cold-hearted business, and the reality of Geno's contract situation made this a possibility that the front office simply had to explore. Geno was due a base salary of $12.7 million in 2024, but more importantly, he carried a cap hit of over $26 million. By moving him now, the Seahawks free up a substantial amount of cap space. We're talking over $13 million in immediate relief, which they can now use to address other glaring needs on the roster, like the offensive line, the linebacker core, and the defensive interior. But the biggest question on everyone's mind right now is, why? Why now? Right after the Super Bowl. And why Geno? Geno Smith had a remarkable comeback story in Seattle. He won the Comeback Player of the Year. He led the team to the playoffs. And for the most part, He stabilized a position that had been in flux since the Russell Wilson trade. However, if you look at the tape from the 2023 season, there were signs of regression. The offense under Shane Waldron often looked disjointed, and Geno, while still accurate, led the league in interceptions for a good portion of the year. He finished with 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, but the fumbles were also an issue. He took a lot of sacks, some of which were on the line, but some were on him holding the ball too long. The front office likely looked at the roster and saw a team that went 9-8 and missed the playoffs. They saw a defense that was historically bad at certain points of the season. They saw an offense that couldn't consistently run the ball when it mattered most. And they probably came to the conclusion that being just good enough at quarterback with a cap hit that is rising isn't a winning formula. They looked at the quarterback landscape in the draft and saw a golden opportunity. This is where the story gets even more interesting. Trading Geno Smith doesn't just create cap space. It creates a massive void at the most important position in sports. And the Seahawks wouldn't make this move without having a definitive plan in place. The rumor mill is now spinning out of control regarding their next move. The most obvious answer is the 2024 NFL Draft. The Seahawks hold the 16th overall pick in a draft class rich with quarterback talent. The idea of moving up to secure a franchise cornerstone is suddenly very real. Names like Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and even J.J. McCarthy are now being hotly linked to Seattle. Could John Schneider pull off a blockbuster trade with a team like the Arizona Cardinals at pick 4 or the Los Angeles Chargers at pick 5 to jump the line and grab their guy? The assets they just acquired in the Geno trade give them the ammunition to do exactly that. It feels like a classic Schneider move. Get value for a veteran and use those assets to acquire a young, cost-controlled talent. Think about it. The Seahawks haven't drafted and developed a franchise quarterback since they took Russell Wilson in the 3rd round in 2012. They tried with guys like Matt Flynn and others, but the stability has always come from a veteran or a late-round gem. By moving up in this draft, they have the chance to reset the clock and build the offense around a dynamic rookie on a 5-year deal, allowing them to spend that freed-up cap money on surrounding him with elite talent. Imagine a rookie quarterback stepping into an offense with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. That is a dream situation for any young signal caller. But the draft isn't the only option. There is another layer to this story that has the fan base absolutely terrified and excited in equal measure. What if the Seahawks aren't done trading? What if this move for draft capital is just the first domino to fall in an even bigger pursuit? There is a persistent, underlying buzz around the league that the Seahawks have been quietly monitoring the veteran quarterback market. And the name that keeps popping up, the name that would send this city into an absolute frenzy, is Justin Fields. The Chicago Bears are widely expected to draft a quarterback with the 1st overall pick, presumably Caleb Williams. That would make Justin Fields available for the right price. And now, the Seahawks have a war chest of picks. Could you imagine Justin Fields in this offense? The mobility, the arm strength, the play action potential with Kenneth Walker III in the backfield? It would completely change the identity of the Seahawks offense. It would turn them into one of the most explosive, difficult to game plan for units in the NFC. It's a tantalizing thought. The problem is, Fields is entering his 4th year, and the team would have to decide on his 5th-year option almost immediately. It's a risky proposition, but it's the kind of high upside swing that Schneider has taken before. And then there's the wild card. There's the name that nobody is really talking about but makes a sick kind of sense. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. Think about the narrative. If Penix falls to the second round due to injury concerns, and the Seahawks come away with a top-tier defensive player with their first pick, and then grab the local hero in the second, the marketing writes itself. Penix has the arm talent and the toughness that Pete Carroll absolutely adores. It would be a home run for the fan base, even if it's a bit of a project. The reaction from the fan base, as I mentioned, has been pure chaos. Social media is split right down the middle. Half the fans are thanking Geno for his service, reminiscing about the magical 2022 season and the shocking win over the Broncos in Week 1. They see this as a necessary evil, a chance to get younger and more dynamic. The other half are absolutely furious. They see a quarterback who gave everything he had, who played through pain, who led the team with heart, being cast aside for a lottery ticket. They point to the offensive line as the real problem. They argue that any quarterback, even Patrick Mahomes, would struggle with the pressure Geno faced. They believe the team should have built around Geno, not torn it down. And honestly, both sides have a point. This is the ultimate gamble. If the Seahawks draft a guy like Jaden Daniels and he turns into a superstar, John Schneider looks like a genius. If they trade for Fields and he finally unlocks his potential with a great supporting cast, they're contenders. But if they miss, if they trade up for a bust, or if Fields struggles, and Geno goes on to have a career resurgence with his new team, this will go down as one of the biggest front office blunders in franchise history. It also sends a clear message about Pete Carroll and John Schneider's timeline. They aren't content to just be a wild card team that fades down the stretch. They want to get back to being the bully of the NFC West. They see the 49ers dominating the division and know that they need a different caliber of play at quarterback to compete with Brock Purdy and that ridiculous supporting cast. They looked at Geno and decided that while he was good, he wasn't going to be the one to lead them past San Francisco in a high-stakes playoff game. This move re-energizes the entire offseason for Seattle. Suddenly, the draft can't get here fast enough. Free agency, which starts in a few weeks, now has a new context. With this extra cap space, who are they going to target? Are they going to go after a big-name defensive tackle like Christian Wilkins? Are they going to splash the cash on a veteran linebacker? The possibilities are endless. So, where do we stand right now? We are in a state of flux. We know Geno Smith is on his way out. We know the Seahawks have a ton of cap space and extra draft capital. We know they have a young, talented skill position group on offense and a defense that needs a lot of work. The next few weeks are going to be an absolute roller coaster. What do you think about this trade? Is moving on from Geno Smith the right call? Or is this a massive mistake? And more importantly, who should be the next quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks? Should they trade up for a rookie, go all in on Justin Fields, or look at a veteran stopgap in free agency like Baker Mayfield, or even a reunion with Russell Wilson? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Let the debate begin. That's all the news we have for you right now. But you know we will be following this story 24/7 as more details emerge. Make sure you like this video if you're excited about the future, and subscribe so you don't miss a second of the off-season coverage. As always, go Hawks. We'll see you in the next one.